I cannot believe that we are already one quarter done with 2025. I just did my monthly reset, but today we are focusing on our finances. We do a lot of finance talk here at Balance While Blooming, but that is not our main reason for how we bloom and grow. It's really important that you find balance in every single area of your life and that you understand where you need to focus in this season of life. I always like to do a finance video. I know it's a taboo topic, why people don't talk about it, and all of that is in a few of my money mindset videos. But today we are just going to talk about the overview of going from one quarter into the second quarter and kind of how I want to do 2025 a little bit differently. I didn't do this in quarter one. I wanted to see how those first 3 months, when we didn't have the best income or we didn't have everything in order or we didn't know what was going to happen, and really set the goals for not only quarter two but for the rest of the year. Today we are focusing on closing out quarter one and going into quarter two. So if you are new here, my name is Bridget. I'm 26 years old. I'm a wife, a stepmom, multi-passionate, and I have multiple areas of life. I wear multiple hats, and I really like to find balance in my day-to-day life to bloom into who I want to be. But if you have been here before, hi again. It's great to see you, and I'm glad that you are on your journey every single day, one step at a time. If you don't know, we share how to really believe in yourself, build the life of your dreams, build the person that you want to become, start balancing your day-to-day life and blooming one step at a time until it becomes a reality. So when we take the bigger look at things, we talk about productivity, we talk about mindset, we talk about how to show up as your best self, how to build this person, set systems, set goals, set routines, and really know how to show up for yourself to become that person. And I know for a lot of people, finances are not that thing. So let's break it down, make it simple, and talk about my journey. As a reminder, I'm not a financial coach. I have no finance background other than going to business school, and I am just doing it based off of what works for my family. And remember, we are a family of three. We're right in that mid-income range, and mid-income is a big range. I want to remind you that you can be just out of low income or you can be really close to high income, and we're right in the middle. But I want that to be known that we have worked our butt off in the last few years to get jobs that get us this financially safe, that we are living in a situation where my mom is our landlord and we have less debt than most people. And I'm not saying any of this to make it seem like I can't connect with you, but I want to remind you that I am just sharing what's on our journey and what has happened for me and my family, and that you go at it as day one. We've been budgeting for almost 2 years now, and it's really important that you understand that I've learned, grown, and we've been faced with setbacks and obstacles before I even started sharing our journey. And if you kind of want to hear about some of our financial struggles and things that we did and how we overcame it, let me know. But right now, let's talk about Q1 and Q2 of 2025. First things first, how do you even do this financial reset? Normally, we do a budget closeout for the month and then we go into the next budget closeout. But today, I really want to talk about Q1 and what we did and check in with our finances. So how we're going to do this reset is really checking in with our finances, reset and refocus, and get back on track to create those financial goals. And then we will talk about April's budget. So this will be a really quick video, just kind of really talking about where we're at and where we want to go. So let's jump into this financial reset, starting with a check-in. Where did we put all of our money in quarter one? For income, we added it up and it came out to about $41,000. I want to be realistic with that. About $11,000 went into our car down payment. So we really walked away from getting rent from our tenants, other miscellaneous, my income, my husband's income, $30,000 within the first quarter. Now that sounds crazy, but I will say that we did have fluctuations of moving money from savings. As I said, that 41 grand, 11 grand of that was from our savings that we have already sunk before, and 30 grand was hard work, dedication, all these things that come in. We are really abundant to money. We do take side jobs. We make sure that we know what our income is going to be. Then for expenses, this is everything from bills, expenses of gas, subscriptions, all of those things that you guys will see in my bills and expenses later, and health insurance. This is also anything that is our home bills. We are starting to change that a little bit going forward to make sure that we know what bills come from our home. We're basically rent owning, so we put in a lot of equity as well. Those are in our expenses because it's not exactly spending if they are bills for things that typically a homeowner would spend on their house, and that came to $13,000. Now debt, as I said, this was $11,000 in the down payment, and we also had about $1,100 of payments so far. So we will break that down into what that means. We pay about $500 a month because we've only been paying that for 2 months. Savings, this is our sinking fund. This is where we put our money into our home down payment, where most of this is, and then into home projects, emergency fund, and other. With that being said, we saved $8,200 in the first quarter. That is really good, as we have a $25,000 goal, and we are so close to being at that halfway mark already with only 4,000. So we only really need to save half for the next quarter, but we will continuously save as much as possible. And then we spent, this is anything from shopping, dentist appointments, co-pays, vacations, anything like that, $7,200. The goal from society is to have the 50-30-20. So when you are checking in with your finances, at least check in for the 50-30-20. 50 is for your needs. This is your mortgage. This is your rent. This is any grocery bill, anything that if the world had to stop, it would be in your emergency fund within reason as your needs, the things that you could not live without. Now, wants are 30. This is your spending. This is your fund money. You get 30% on wants, and then 20 is for your savings and debt repayment. For us, we are doing this math out of the 30,000, and we took out the down payment for the car, so that's where the other 11,000 went. We are right on track pretty much with every single one. So if we go by the 50 for our needs, that would be our expense category, and we spent 43% out of the 30,000 that we made. Now the next chunk is spending. For your 30 of wants, we spent 24. I'm really glad that that's actually lower and that we cut back on our wants and get to move some money somewhere else. And then savings was 27%, so way above the 20%. And then our debt is 4%. We could always spend a little bit more to pay off quicker, but we are right on that average of about 5% and 15% for savings is kind of how I broke down the 20 for debt and savings. So we are right on track for that. Now, we are going to set goals for Q2 and the rest of 2025, kind of figuring out where we want to be, how we want this next quarter to look to spring forward into the new year. Our savings, of course, I took these from our quarterly goals that we already have. So for our savings goal, we want to save $2,400 for home, $1,500 for our emergency fund, and $2,450 for our other. This is anything from home projects to dental bills to our car insurance. All of those things added up in the next 3 months. We want to save all of that. It comes out to about $6,000 if I remember from our monthly reset video. So that's where we want to go. Now for income, I want to at least make $20,000 bare minimum for just my husband, I, and rent. I did not mark that on here, but that's what I want. I want to make sure that between our rent, my husband and I, nothing else that comes in, that we make $20,000. And then expenses, we want to stay under 40%, which is right on track for where we were. We were a little bit more. For spending, we want to be right at the 25%. We want to save 30% and have 5% debt for our car payment. So all of that being said, those are our big goals. Checking in on our percentages. There are going to be months that we don't budget the 40, 25, 35, But as much as we can stay on track and make more money to make sure that we are there and stay on track with how much money we actually make is really important. So we will be checking in on this throughout the month. So there may be months that we're higher in some categories and lower in other months, and that's where you get your average of where you are, because I did not break it down for every single month. But all that being said, we know what our goals are. We know that we've reset. We've really checked in with our money. I'm really proud of our financial situation. I was really a saving queen and made sure that I knew exactly where my money was going. And I know that April and May are always tight months for us, where we aren't as realistic with our savings and spending. We have so much going on in bills and expenses for our house that it's really important to be intentional with exactly what you're spending, and we're being more realistic with our categories going into 2025 of that miscellaneous and others actually going to be less, because we need to call more things bills. Those are expenses. If life was to end, those are things that reoccur every single year. You need to make sure that you are paying for those. Our paychecks, be really realistic with the money that you're getting and the money that you need to be able to save, spend, and budget correctly. Let's jump into our April budget. This is our budget. You guys have seen it before. It has our income, it has our expenses, sinking funds, spending funds, and debt. I just want to note that we have some back rent, we have taxes coming in, and then we have work reimbursement. And then over here we have taxes added because we do owe federal taxes and it will be paid out in mid-April. And then we have changed this bills for or anything for our town, water bill or other for our house. So that includes our septic payments, that includes pest control stuff. We have a few things that just come and go, and I call those bills because they aren't just nothing, they are important. Jumping right into your income, you always need to know your income first, because then you can break everything else down. So of course we're still in this low time of not exactly sure what my husband's checks are going to be. They're always more than 400, but sometimes they're tight. And this month we have an extra paycheck for him just based off how paychecks go. And that being said, we are keeping that amount for right now. For me, it's $1,700 because I am paid bi-weekly. We only have 2 paychecks this month based off how the weeks go. And then we always get rent of $1,400. And then we have $300 back rent from last month. And then our taxes coming into us is about $450 from the state. And I hope to have my work reimbursement. I was supposed to get it last month and I just didn't ask for the check. So we will definitely be doing that this month just because it's a tighter month and we need to be there. Now we are on the lower end for our income. This is more of an average month for us within reason, and understanding that we want to make as much as possible. Throughout this video, check out this bubble right here. That $8,050 is going to start going less as we put it into our other categories. So keep an eye on that. It becomes realistic because our rent is $1,400. It already took it out. Then we have a big month, this month of bills, $500. Our internet is always $140. Our phone is always $35. I'm hoping to change my husband's plan in the next few months, but it's just not in the budget right now. Our utilities are always $500. Groceries this month, we are trying to cut back again, but we always spend over $1,000, but we'll see what we can do here. $35. Gas, we want to stay under $300. This month we don't have any health insurance. We will have to pay again. Next month, $175 for subscriptions, and then $900 is what we have to pay for taxes. Kind of stinks because we're getting a little bit back, but we owe so much, but we're really only paying, if you really said if they were going to pull our other taxes, $450. Now, all that being said, make sure that you know your averages. This is really high for us, closer to that 5,000 number. I like to be between 3,500 and 4,000, but of course we have some big bills this month. And then of course you want to make sure your payments for your debt, this is anything that isn't your mortgage. So this is student loan, credit card, anything that you pay. We do have credit cards. Unfortunately, I don't put them in here to show you guys because we don't have a balance at the end of any month. We pay only what we can spend and what we can budget in. For us, it's just our card payment, and we pay about $250-ish bi-weekly, but it comes out to around $470 at the end of the month. Now, I want to always save and make sure that our money is being put towards the future. When we talk about savings, it's all about putting that money towards the future. And it's really important that you understand where you need to save. So we have auto payments, and with those auto payments, this is how much is already going into home and home projects. That's what we've already set up for the month. That is what we have. It's $1,000 and then $500. No matter what, if we don't save anything else, those will be automatically paid. I do hope to save more money than that, but we will see. We only have $1,000 and about $200 left over, which is not great because we have a $500 vacation. $500 vacation fee that is going to be automatically paid out due to us pre-planning our trips. One we had to pay for. We paid $400 up front and we paid $500 now so that we have that fully paid for our May trip. They just pull it right before. And so that leaves us with only a couple $100, which is really a tight month for us, but it's okay. We're going to make it work. We are going to put $495 to get that 95 gone, and that leaves us with 200 for other. Now if we overspend, it's okay. We're hoping to make a bit more money. We're hoping that we can save on other bills or expenses and that we don't overspend. But overall, this is our budget. You can see all the income that we expect to come in, our bills and expenses, reality of it being a heavier month on our expenses that cuts back our spending because we already have our debt to be paid off and we know exactly what we're already pulling for savings. Now, if we can save any more money, great. If we can cut back on any of those expenses, awesome. And if we can really make sure that our budgeted amounts kind of stay where they are, we will be right on track. Now that you saw our budget, where are we at with our goals? We are on track for saving for other. We're on track for saving for home. We are right on track. If we make that $8,000 ish and make a little bit more, that we will be right on track because 8 times 3 is 21,000. So we are on track for where we want our income. Now, talking about those percentages is where every month is going to be different. And as you guys saw, that our expenses were a bit more than we really average out normally. So unfortunately, instead of staying in that 40%, it's actually looking like 60%. So we need to make sure that in months moving forward that we cut back on our expenses to stay closer to that 40% that we want. But of course, you cannot always change what you have going on. For debt, we are right on track based off our income this month. It's 5%. Almost 6%, but that's okay. And then our sinking funds, we want to be at 30%. Unfortunately, this month we are only at 18.5%, so we are a little bit less than our 30%, of course. And our spending, we are right on track underneath our 25% at 14%. We can see where that 60% is kind of taking away from our savings. But other than that, everything else is staying on track, and it'll be interesting throughout the next few months, throughout this quarter, understanding that April is a little bit of a tighter month. We have more bills, we have everything, maybe looking for other income outlets, figuring out other ways to cut back, and understanding that if we need to focus on anything, it's putting more into savings if we make more money. So overall, remember, this is just my budget, this is our family, and these are the goals that we have set. But it's really important that you understand your finances, you understand where you are, where you're going, and that you are paying off your debt, that you are saving money, you know where your bills and expenses are, and you can still balance in fun because you've built a plan. This is your plan, this is how you're going to do it, and how you stay on track is up to you. But I'm here every step of the way, and that's part of the blooming journey, growing, evolving, and changing every single month to make sure that you understand your budget, that you understand what you want out of your finances. And remember, this is just one area of life, but to become this amazing next level person, every single area of life needs to start growing. I cannot wait to hear how you did in quarter one and how you are changing your finances and just evolving them to be even better in quarter two. And I want you to know that your financial journey is day by day. Everything in your personal growth journey is day by day, and that you need to take it one step at a time and start understanding that you are not alone. You are on this journey called life, and we're all going through our own path, and we can support each other no matter what we're going through. We can understand each other, that we can show up for each other as long as that you are showing up for yourself, that you are going through the process, the action, and this mindset of knowing that there's more out there and that you can bloom and grow. I'm proud of you. I'm here just to inspire you. I would love to help you with your journey. As I said, I'm not an expert, but I've been doing this for over 2 years now, and I want to share with you exactly the tips and tricks that I have. If you have nitty-gritty questions of how I get these numbers or what I'm doing or how I've got ourselves out of debt, let me know. Make sure that you are understanding your goals and your dreams and that you bloom them one day at a time, if it's finances or not. Let's be part of this community and support each other no matter what our dreams are, one day at a time. And I will see you guys soon. Bye, guys.